Maybe even in our friendships and people's friendships, we see that too.
Mm.
You know, I'm just thinking about, you know, uh, what it really means to be a friend. A friend is not just a casual acquaintance that, can come and go through good times and bad. If things get hard, they're out of the picture. But if things are good, or you got money or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then they're your friend. A friend is a friend, good, bad, otherwise. They're committed to you. They're there to help. They're there to lift you up. They're there to encourage you and bring you strength when you need it. And then it comes back the other way. It flows back the other way when they're on the end where they need that kind of encouragement. There's a commitment to that. Um, you know, and I know of people who really have been abandoned by their quote unquote friends because of something that's happened in their life, and the people can't hang with the negative thing that's happened in their person's life. They're not committed to it. They walk away,
Mm-hmm.
and that's extreme. That maybe is more painful than what the situation is
Yeah.
that people are going through.
Yeah, I think if we look, and maybe we are a product of the choices of the society we've made in society, because if you look at it, look how many families. What is this? 50% divorce rate in marriages.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And that holds true in the church
And out.
and out of the church, which
That's
is a
true.
sad statement.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what you're saying is, I'm committed to this as long as it's going the way I want it to go, and as long as my needs are being met, and as long as my desires are being fulfilled. But when things don't go the way I thought they were going to go, I'm just going to cut and run. So then you have families that are being run by one parent, whether it's the mother or the father. And most of the time, it ends up the mom
Sure.
that has the children.
Mm-hmm.
Dad goes and
Does his own thing.
gets weird.
Yeah.
And so then you have a child that grows up in that environment, and so that's what they're used to, and then that becomes to them a norm.
Sure.
Or the other thing is the people that live together for 15 years
And never get married. Yeah.
because they don't want to make a commitment, because I don't know, there's probably lots of reasons why they don't want to make that commitment. What do you think are some of those reasons they don't want to make that commitment?
Well, a commitment means that you are willing to yield control. A commitment to a relationship means I don't have to be in control all the time. We can go back and forth, back and forth. I think too. I mean, there's people, Weyman, who flippantly or very easily give up in situations. I'm thinking specifically of family situations, family relationships. And then there's people where, they may not be able to fulfill that commitment, but it's an extremely painful, long process of coming to that point. So I don't want people to think that we're just,
Right.
hammering people. That's not our heart, of course.
Not at all.
But I do think that we tend to have a large group of people who give up easily
Mm-hmm.
and are not willing to contend or not willing to work through stuff. I think a lot of it comes from just the way we were trained, the way we were raised. I think succeeding generations after ours are probably going to see it even worse than maybe what our kids are seeing. It's just a path that it seems like our society is on, where you can break contracts, you can break relationships, and there doesn't seem to be any repercussions anymore
Mm-hmm.
to that. It doesn't seem like there has to be a price that it has to be paid because of you breaking your word. I know you and I have talked, back in your dad's day, you would do big business with just a handshake.
Yeah.
And now if you're doing business, you better have it in writing, with all the fine print, and even then people can find loopholes to break contracts. So I think we've really begun to make that and glorify that aspect of lack of commitment being a huge thing. I think there's attorneys who are proud that they can find loopholes,
Mm-hmm.
to break commitments for people. And to me, in my core being, that just feels wrong.
Yeah, I think we've changed the focus of saying, well, I'm going to focus on how I can make this commitment work and what I can do to work through what I'm doing and to change what needs to change, so while we're going through, we can stay committed to each other and to whatever we're committed to. And instead, like you said, we've totally taken the focus and said now we're putting our effort into figuring out the way that we can get out of it. The focus, the effort, and work has gone to the other thing instead, which is kind of...
Does it seem warped?
Seems strange. It's strange
It
thinking.
really does.
Because if you took the same amount of effort you were putting in to find the loophole and figure out how to get out of this and make sure that your back's covered so you can get out of these things, if you put that same amount of effort, even less when God's in it, to go the other way, you'll come through it.
Yeah, tremendous results of growth and maturity and strength and provision comes when you stick to the commitments that you make, the relationships that you have. I think even in the church, Weyman, there are people who are afraid to commit even to a church. They may feel a level of commitment to God or to the Lord Jesus, but not to each other. And I'm reading a book right now that's helping me to refresh my mind and my thoughts, even on how Jesus sees the church, and how committed He is to us as the church. And that level of commitment is just beyond our comprehension as human beings. But how he brings that to us so that we can learn to be committed to one another, because when we're committed to one another, we really are committed to Him. And this author that we're reading says he's not sure if you can be called a Christian and not be committed to a church.
Yeah.
So we may have to explore that a little bit further in one of our programs. But commitment is a huge thing.
Yeah.